Hey everyone, this is Bill Krieger from the Veterans Archives podcast, where we preserve and share the incredible stories of our nation's heroes. Catch us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Wreaths Across America Radio, or stream anytime on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Really, anywhere you choose to get your podcast, you should be able to find us. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social media to help us reach more veterans and supporters. We are a nonprofit, and this service is completely free for veterans. Every story matters, and every voice deserves to be heard. Spread the word, honor our heroes, and join us on this mission. Follow, share, and tune in, because their story should never be forgotten. Learn more at veteransarchives.org. We'll see you there. Today is Friday, April 4th, 2025. We're talking to Steve Whitney, who served in the United States Army. So, good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Bill.
Great to see you this morning.
Good you be here. Yeah.
And I got to say, you got a beautiful place out here. I know we were talking about it before we did the recording, but it's really nice.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to get started, and I'm just going to start with some simple questions. So, when and where were you born?
I was born February 16th, 1950 in Detroit.
Okay.
At, what was it? What was the name of the hospital? Mount Carmel.
All right.
Detroit.
And
West Detroit.
For those who are watching and listening,
yes.
Steve's wife, Chris, is kind of off camera here watching everything go on. So we may hear from her at some point in this. So we'll see what happens.
I was born and went to school in Detroit.
Okay.
The street I lived on, it was a half a block from elementary school that was just built.
Mm-hmm.
So at second grade, I started there because they were busing me to another school for kindergarten and first grade because that school wasn't built yet.
Oh, okay.
And then I started there at that school, and then I went to junior high.
Uh-huh.
Lesser Junior High in Detroit is a mile walk.
Nice.
And then I went to Cody High School, which was another mile walk.
So you were right near home the whole time.
Yeah. And I was where we lived. We were 4 blocks from the biggest park in Detroit, Rouge Park, called Rouge Park.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a golf course. It had 3 Olympic swimming pools there, too. Brennan pools, they were called. That park was my playground.
Yeah. Were you there all the time?
A lot.
Yeah.
Well, I started real young. Started making money off the golf course. Shagging balls.
Oh.
Balls coming over the first fence and everything. Selling them back to present golfers. They get pissed. No, sell them to somebody else.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
No one likes to buy their own ball back, though, right?
No, they don't, because they're pissed that they knocked it off.
Right. Yeah, I've played a few rounds of golf myself.
But I learned a couple other holes you can be on, hit balls coming over the fence. Then I started figuring out there's 7 river holes.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little older, 1 or 2 years. Started raiding the course. Know exactly where the balls collect in the river.
Oh.
And get a lot of balls, clean them all up, put them in egg cartons, and sell them.
So you had quite an enterprise going.
Well, made good money.
Yeah. Now, did you have brothers and sisters?
I had 1 brother, younger, 11 months younger than me, and 1 sister, younger than me.
Okay.
And my brother enlisted too,
Mm-hmm.
and that story will come out about him.
Okay. And then, so were you guys pretty close growing up, or not?
Well, my childhood was a little problem because my dad wouldn't communicate with us.
Okay.
So it was just my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So basically we grew up that way. Eventually I worked in with my dad, but
yeah,
that was his problem.
So pretty much your mom was the caretaker then?
Yeah.
Well, what can you tell me about your mom?
She's Italian, 100% Sicilian.
Uh-huh.
She was really outspoken. And don't remember much. I had a concussion when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
And I lost a lot of my memory, exactly in my younger years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're working your way through school, collecting golf balls. Did you swim in those pools at all?
Oh, the Brennan pools. God, yeah.
That must have been pretty
Big
cool.
Olympic pools, 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
One shallow, one medium, and one a diving one.
Did you do much diving?
No. You'd have to prove that you can dive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. So you, did you play sports or anything like that in school? No?
No sports. I was sort of like, back then it wasn't called a geek.
Right.
I like all the shops, and I was I love math back then. So
yeah. Well, the nice thing about math is it just is what it is. 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4, right?
Yeah, but you get into geometry, algebra, all that stuff.
Yeah. So you make it through school, I'm assuming?
Well, no, I didn't.
Okay.
I stopped school because my parents weren't pushing me, and the school was pushing me toward college. I didn't like the classes they were pushing me to. I wanted to be standard, but nobody would listen to me, so I just stopped.
Okay.
And then made money, worked here, there, and then got drafted at 19.
Okay.
Got hired at Ford at 18.
And what'd you do at Ford?
Well, this was National Park Depot in Livonia. It's a warehouse, the only single warehouse they have in the nation that handles not fast-moving stock, okay? And I worked stock for about 10 years there. And then I got into their executive garage they created there as a mechanic because I was always wrenching on the side. And I managed to be last 25 years or 35 years at Ford's being a mechanic at executive garage.
Okay. So you did your whole career there at Ford then?
Yeah.
After
that career, yeah.
Yeah. So let's back.
So I got drafted at 19 at Ford's, and it was August. I went in. Got down to Fort Wayne, where we were going to be shipped out to Fort Knox, Kentucky, and they had us all stand in line, straight line in a long hallway, and out walked a sergeant, Marine sergeant, on the side door. He walked in front of the line and says, "Okay, if I point at you, you step one step forward." I was sweating. I wasn't playing in the Marines.
Yeah.
But he picked out 4 or 5 guys, and it's okay, you guys are in the Marines, follow me.
I've talked to a bunch of guys, same exact situation, and some of them got picked and some of them didn't. It was, that's a scary proposition there.
Well, it is, because they don't tell you ahead of time.
Right.
That's what's scary about it.
And when you're talking about Fort Wayne, you're talking about Fort Wayne in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't even know that existed.
I know. That was a great place to be.
Yeah.
And then they bus us down to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And then I got introduced to basic training.
So tell me about that. What do you remember about that, like that first day of basic training?
No, it was all interesting to me. Just learning everything. And what was amazing me, meeting the people, the guys from all over the eastern part of the country. That was amazing to me. Meeting the people.
Yeah, because a lot of people will grow up in one city and
it
have
could be
the same
Illinois,
friends.
Ohio, could be New York, whatever.
Yeah, all kinds of different people from all kinds of different places.
It's amazing.
That is very cool.
And training was good. You learn about misery, agony, and whatever that third hill was called, but.
Yeah. Interesting thing about the Army is no matter where the base is at, it feels like it's always hot and always humid. Did you run into that in Fort Knox?
Not there. In my infantry training down in Louisiana, I did.
Okay. Did you go to Fort Polk?
Yes.
Louisiana? All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. I get out of Knox and got shipped down to Fort Polk. And I met a guy in Knox that was from Lincoln Park. So we kind of got together.
Yeah.
And we did our 192 strong company in Fort Polk, Louisiana for infantry training. And that was a good deal. I mean, I learned more, like you're supposed to.
Right.
I ended up placing first place in the physical test. I didn't know I was capable of doing. out of 192.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's really
And
good.
I got a 3-day pass out of that.
Oh,
Yeah. But never had a Polk KP either.
mm-hmm.
I don't know how I lucked out on that.
Never. That's.
Well, no, I did it once in
I think you
Knox.
should have to go back and do it now.
I did it in Knox, peeling potatoes or something like that.
yeah.
But Fort Polk, no. That was a different program there.
Okay.
And that was an awesome time. And then when end of Fort Polk, they gave us our orders.
Mm-hmm.
The guy from Lincoln Park and me, the other 190 had orders from Nam. We didn't. We were ordered back to Knox for track school and then Korea. So we didn't know what was going on.
Wow, it's almost like getting the lottery.
Well, we didn't know.
Right.
We didn't know what was going on. So we get down to Knox, and it was during the end of the holiday, Christmas. So we got there in January.
Yeah.
And then we did our track school. And then we got shipped to Fort Lewis, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
We got shipped over to Korea. And we get there, I think it's 8th Army. They said, okay, it was a sergeant. He says, okay, you guys are assigned to the 2nd and 9th Battalion, 2nd Division. It's up on the DMZ of Korea. You can't go. Why? So that's when we found out our mothers wrote letters.
Oh, jeez.
He had a brother, younger brother, and I had a younger brother. They both enlisted, and they were in Nam at that time.
Okay, so did he enlist after you?
Yes.
Okay.
After I got drafted.
Okay, and then did he?
Oh, no, didn't he?
Before.
Oh, before. I thought it was after. Maybe
Okay.
before.
Yeah. So your brother enlisted before you did. You got drafted. He went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And your mom was like, not two of them.
Yep. So I said to the sergeant, I says, how much does combat pay?
Uh-huh.
He said, at that time it was $65 a month. I said, is there anything we can do about it? He says, yeah, sign waivers. We pissed our mothers off for a period of time, but we signed waivers.
So I want to ask, your mom is a Sicilian woman, and you already said that she doesn't hold back. I'll bet she was not happy when you did that.
But I'm thousands of miles away. So
yeah, what's
I'm
she going to
immune
do
from that?
What's she going to do until you get home, right?
Yeah. But she got over it before I got home.
Oh, all right. Good move. Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about your experience there.
It was a good experience. I made rank fast.
Mm-hmm.
I got over there as an E2, made E3 fat as soon as I got there. And then 2.5 months later, I was an E4. And then I found out the unit, 3 line platoons and 1 weapons platoon. I was a weapons platoon.
Mm-hmm.
They were committed for the zone every 3 months. And then the line platoons always had night duty, and the weapons platoon always had the day duty. But during that period I first got there, they were off the zone, okay? Training period, we call it R&R.
Right.
And I found out there was Advanced Combat Training Academy going on up there.
Uh-huh.
And if you went through it and got in the top 10, you got another grade. Volunteered.
Right.
Good experience because all the instructors were Vietnam people.
Mm-hmm.
And you learned a lot from them. And I did learn a lot. And I got my grade.
I was going to say, you finished in the top 10, right?
Yeah. I got my sergeant stripe.
Wow. That's really fast.
Yeah.
By anyone's standard, that's really fast.
But in a war zone, that's what happens.
Right. Well, I don't think it hurt that you were good at what you did. You were smart and you did what you're supposed to do.
We had a good platoon daddy in E7. He was really good. He was a Vietnam vet too. He was really good. And then when he rotated out, they didn't have anybody to replace him. So myself and another guy from Long Island, Jeff Pace, he was a sergeant. We were two of us were combined platoon daddies.
Okay.
So a lot happened during that period of time before they got somebody else in there.
Right. Well, so what kind of things did you do in Korea?
When you're committed, being a weapon platoon, day duty, you got guard duty at the gates where the gun jeeps are. That allows chow wagons and personnel to get to the GPs in the zone. And that's about what we did. And then I ran patrols too.
Okay.
In the zone.
Okay. So when you talk about in the zone, you sort of have a gate here on our side and a gate here on their side?
No.
Okay.
MDL is a true north and south line between North Korea and South Korea. Then the DMZ is a 2-mile buffer zone on each side of that MDL line.
Okay.
And that buffer zone is where you patrol.
Okay.
2-mile buffer zone.
You just don't go any further than that.
No.
Right. Yeah. Any exciting things happen while you were there? Anything that comes to mind?
Well, we were never in a firefight. We did. One of the gun jeeps coming back from the GP, they were coming in the curve. I was set up as ambush that day on patrol near their site, and saw somebody run across the road in front of them into an old rice paddy. So we got word on the radio about that, and they knew we were there. So we got my guys. We went over there, did a sweep. They brought in some more troops, did more sweeps. Nothing. I knew what happened. Guy went to ground. I learned that from the Advanced Combat Training Academy.
Yeah, they have tunnels, right?
Well, at that time, they didn't know about the tunnels there.
Right.
But they had tunnels.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, what else happened? Well, there was a couple of incidents where we were a mech unit, so armored personnel carriers. And they were running some armored personnel carriers, and something happened at another site in the DMZ, and they were running. One of them tipped over and killed a guy. Oh. Yeah. But when I got there, just backing up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
When I got to that company, in the mortar pool, there was a 3/4 ton pickup. It was like Swiss cheese. Turns out, 2 weeks prior, there was 2 engineers with that pickup truck at the gate. And they were antsy to get to the GP, but the gun jeeps were with the chow wagon. So they're waiting. Somehow they talked to the guy that was on the gate, opened it up. They got in there and they got ambushed.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Got to be careful.
Got to be.
Yeah. So how long were you there?
13 months.
Okay.
Standard tour back then.
Yeah.
3 months on, 1 month off, 3 months on. I ran training too with that month off. That was fun.
So what kind of training did you do?
With them, mortars. Worked with the guys with the mortars and all that crap. And then we got mortars inside the armored personnel carriers, big hatches on top that you can fire control and all that crap.
So you could fire mortars right out of the vehicle. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. They had the 4.2. I think it was the 4.2. That was the bigger diameter tubes. They were mounted in the personnel carriers.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Oh, it is. It is.
So with your math background, I would imagine like creating the fire control solution and all that was pretty...
I knew all about how to do that.
Yeah.
Fire control and where to send the rounds and how to adjust and everything.
Yeah, I think people that watch movies just see them set up the mortar and then... But there's some science behind how to get it to where it needs to go, right?
There is science because they know exactly that, first up and down, the altitude. Then they know how far we'll go for elevation deal. You go from there.
Right. Well, and you have to know your own elevation and kind of their elevation and the wind and the weather will impact it. No, wind and
weather doesn't affect it.
Oh, okay. All right.
You just got to know point A, point B. That's it. You got to know. You got to know the maps.
Right. The
coordinates and everything. So we trained with that. I trained with the armored personnel carriers. And I trained, the guys didn't like me when I did this because down in Knox, they did it to us. They had an armored personnel carrier in a river, shallow river, and you throw a track. Well, you got to put the track back together again. So I had to teach the guys how to do that.
In a river.
In a river.
I can imagine they wouldn't appreciate that very much.
No, they didn't appreciate it, but hey, you got to repair things.
Yeah.
Especially if it comes into the war zone, you have to repair it immediately.
Right. Right. You got to train as you fight.
Yeah.
Right. Now, was your friend there the whole time? The buddy you met at Polk?
He was in the company, headquarters company. He ended up driving the colonel.
Oh.
The whole time there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that a cushy job?
Yes, it was. But he had his perks. I got the perks from he's got.
That's funny.
Anytime we ran out of beer, talk to him. They get beer.
Now, are you still in contact with him, or were you when you got back?
No.
Okay.
Never did. Even the other guy, Jeff Pace from Maine, got to know him quite well. Never got back with him either.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I wish I did now, but never happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny when you come back and everyone kind of goes their own separate ways, right?
Yes.
You might run into them or you might not. So you did your 13-month tour there and come back to the States, or is there anything else you want to?
Well, no, I haven't finished that yet.
Oh, okay. Wow.
When we got near the end of my tour, the CO, the captain, came to me and two other E5s in the company and says, okay, you guys are getting short. We're getting committed again. You guys are going to be on permanent CQ. You can rotate it between you three. And then when you're off those 2 days, you can go everywhere you want in South Korea to get your paperwork done. Done deals, Cap.
Right. Twist my arm.
But while I was CQ, there was an incident happen. And I had to open the armory up, get guys armed. Because one of our new guys, he was on guard duty that night, and he walked in the CO club and plugged our first sergeant.
Really?
Found out later, it was an older guy that talked this guy into doing it, and they came back and got him.
Was there a reason why they did it? Did they ever talk about that?
The other guy that talked this guy and first sergeant never got along.
Oh, okay. So it was just a grudge.
Yep. Grudge.
Wow, that's a pretty crazy way to take
And
care
then
of it.
when that happened, I had to get the armory, get the guys out. Okay, check all the barracks. And they found them in one of the barracks, and two hostages, but they talked them out of it. Then the helicopter comes in, takes them away, and then the helicopter comes back, takes the other guy away.
And you never saw them again.
No,
Huh?
but the first sergeant, I felt so bad for him because he was a good guy.
Yeah.
And his last tour was U of M, recruiting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and to come all the way to Korea and have that happen.
He had about 30 years of service, 28 years, 30 years. Yeah. But then I finally rotated out. Got back to Fort Lewis, Washington.
How'd you like Fort Lewis? I really enjoyed it when I was there.
I didn't see much of it.
Oh, okay.
That was my
You were just kind of...
transportation deal.
Yeah.
Didn't see much of it.
Okay.
But I did, coming back from the airport and everything, that's when you realize this Vietnam country, what they felt about the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
That's when you realize what's going on.
What was that like for you?
That was, pardon my language, bullshit. It's the way the media ran with it, and the government never told them, no, don't do that. I blame the government doing it, but the media too got carried away. Because that was the first time they put reporters right on the scene.
Right.
And that's...
Let's take a quick break.
Hey, listeners, we need your help to keep the Veterans Archives podcast going. We're a nonprofit dedicated to preserving the stories of our nation's heroes, and we provide this service completely free to veterans. Your support helps us record, share, and archive these incredible stories so future generations never forget the sacrifices made for our freedom. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. Visit veteransarchives.org to contribute today. Help us honor their service by ensuring their voices are heard. And thank you for your support, and thank you to all the veterans who have served our country. Yeah, because people weren't getting context about what was happening. They were just seeing it and kind of
Right.
left to make up their own story about it, right? Yeah. What was it like to come back, though, after being gone for that?
It was
long?
good.
Was it?
I mean, it was a great experience,
Uh-huh.
but get back to my life.
Right.
That's what I did. And then married her in 72.
Okay, well, you can't just say I just married Chris.
No.
We gotta hear this story.
Okay. We dated
Uh-huh. How'd you...
since 17, a blind date.
Really?
Friends set us up, and we dated for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 72, we got married.
Okay. Is that shortly after you got back then?
No, I got back in March of 71.
Okay. And then did you go back to work at Ford at that point?
Yep.
Okay.
And then
And then she made an honest man out of you in about a year after
She
that.
tried. But 2 years later, I got called up, go up to Camp Grayling.
Uh-huh.
That's 6-year application.
Oh, because you're in the individual ready reserve or something like that?
Well, your application when you're drafted, 6 years.
Yeah.
So I got called, go to Camp Grayling. So I tried checking into it. There was 6 other veterans that were getting shipped with the National Guard.
Uh-huh.
So we get up there. They bust us up there. And then the 6 of us, we went looking for the first sergeant. Find out what's going on.
Right.
We walked in. He looked at all of us. He started laughing. He says, "I know who you guys are." He says, "You're asking what you're here for?" He says, "Yes, sir." Said, "Body count. That's all. Just enjoy your time and teach these guys what you know."
Oh, so they just needed numbers.
Yes.
Oh, how nice.
So we did, because I was mortars. Taught some guys on the firing range how to shoot mortars. That was fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun when you get to use the weapons.
big guns,
Yeah,
the big
stuff
weapons,
That you were,
yeah.
We had what were called Mark 19, and that is it mounts on top of a vehicle, and it's basically a machine gun that fires grenades.
Yeah.
So we had those.
M79 law. I mean, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, M79 grenade launcher.
Yeah. These sat up on top, and they were
Yeah.
belt fed, and so that was our fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you just kind of hanging out at Camp Grayling, just having a good time.
No, we were in training, but had good time.
Yeah.
The first weekend, she came up, and then I drove her back and came back up there, so I had a car there.
Mm-hmm.
So some of us would come back on the car. Right, Chris? Yeah. It was a good time. 2 weeks went fast.
Yeah.
I mean, the mortar guys, the guys I was teaching, we were on the range, popping mortars and hitting, we're doing our thing. And at the end, I says, "Okay, guys, I'm going to show you something." Crank the tube straight up, drop an illumination round in. Poof, comes down the parachute. Wow! I says, "Okay, well, I had to teach them to don't be so fast on a mortar tube. You don't want to be hanging one and one coming out at the same time."
Right. Now, can you overheat that mortar tube too if you're...
I've heard it being done, but I never had a chance to do that.
Yeah.
Because the only time they overheat it, say if you're on a hill or something, and you're being overrun and you're using the mortars constantly, that could happen, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
Because there's that amount of time for it to leave, and then you have to actually load it again. So.
Well, you know when it goes off.
Right.
So boom, drop another one. Poof, poof, poof. Because there's a firing pin right at the bottom of that tube.
Uh-huh.
But on patrols in Korea, I always grabbed the combination, the the grenade launcher and my M16 combination package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the M79? That's the Mark 79, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to shoot one of those once.
Those are
That's a lot of fun.
Grenades are so accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. If you do it right,
Yeah.
you can get done what
The
you
little
need to
sight
get
that pops up like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We did a few of those at Grayling when I was serving. So, yeah. So did you 2 weeks at Grayling? Anything else happen up there? Or just head for home?
No, just the 2 weeks there and then come home and get back to life.
Yeah. So talk about what getting
Then I
back to
spent
life is
35 years with Fords.
like. Uh-huh.
We never had kids, but I always got involved. I got involved with one of my nieces. Her dad died when she was young, and at 10, I started seeing her every week. So I was around for her till she got where she got a teenager to house. I don't want. I'm busy.
You didn't want to do that anymore.
But no, that was fun.
Yeah.
And we always had huskies and cats and everything. Photography was always my thing. We started doing these 3-week vacations every year. We started in August, but then we switched it to September because September was great. You had to make reservations.
Right.
It was easy to travel in this country. And we pick a state and spend up to a week traveling back and forth, get to that state and spend 2 weeks in that particular state and see what it did a lot of things in every one of those states. And that was fun. And photography, God, I got so many photo albums. It's unbelievable.
All right. What a great way to keep all your memories, too. Yeah.
But the only thing is, you get to this age, who's going to say them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can enjoy them, right?
Yeah, but we're talking already to nephews and nieces and stuff like that. Okay, you want my guns? You want my photographs and stuff like that? What do you want? Because we got a living trust, so we got to mark everything in there.
Right. Yeah. So when you were working at Ford, were you still living in Detroit?
No.
Okay.
But no. Yeah, working in Detroit. Yeah, but we moved.
Yeah. How long were you in Detroit then before you?
Was it 18
you
years?
moved?
13 years.
Okay.
85, we moved to Canton. Bought a small ranch, built a garage, and spent 21 years there.
Okay.
And then from there, we bought this place, 2 acres, and built this ranch. Now we've been here for 19 years.
Okay.
At this place.
And how many huskies have you had over that period of time? 3 of them.
3.
Okay.
Plus puppies.
What's that?
Plus puppies.
Oh, so you're...
Oh, yeah, because the first husky, we bred her.
Okay.
And we had a lot of puppies from there and sold
And
them.
then we had an oopsie
Yeah.
because he didn't think that
Oh,
they could climb fences.
you had some puppies that weren't planned for.
Well, all we know was a black male.
Like a Labrador or something like that, maybe?
Who knows what it was, but
yeah.
we got some interesting puppies from that one.
Yeah. Did you have trouble getting rid of those puppies?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, so for anybody watching, we've got a husky mug right here that you're drinking out of. That's why. Now, is that your most recent dog?
Yeah, that's the most recent. She made it 14, passed last year.
Okay, what was her name?
Kia, which is a native Alaska, means little wise one.
Oh.
Yeah. That's her up there on the wall, the little puppy.
Okay. So just like kids, we got pictures of the puppies.
And she was character from the first 2 huskies. She really had a different personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you, I want to go back a little bit. So did you travel the whole time you were working as well, or is that just something that you started doing later on in life?
We did 3 weeks travel. And where we lived in Canton, our good neighbors, good friends now, next door, they would watch our animals, or we watched their animals.
Okay.
It worked out great for us.
Yeah. So you didn't have to take the dogs with you when you traveled?
No.
Okay.
No. We just do our travel bit.
Yeah. Well, and how did you get interested in photography?
It might have been picked it up from my dad, okay?
Okay.
But when I was in Korea, I was in the PX, and I see this beautiful Malota SRR 101 camera.
They made great cameras.
Yes. I bought it. Found out it just has a light meter in it, so I had to learn everything about it. Of course, at then we took slides. That was the most, when you're in the Army, that's the best way to handle pictures, slides. So I did a lot of slide pictures. And then I kept it up. When I got out, I got another Malota. And then when the digital world opened up, Malota didn't come out with their own digital SLR camera. They sold part of their technology to Sony. So Sony came out with their Sony A cameras. Sony lenses and Malota autofocus lenses will fit on those.
Oh.
So I bought a Sony A so I can keep some of my lenses.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And now, are you self-taught in photography?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I got books on it and everything, but I just learned by taking pictures,
Yeah. You know what you like. You know
using
what goes
filters
out.
and everything, and
Uh-huh.
man, that was fun stuff to play with.
Yeah. I'll bet. So you retire. When did you retire then from
I retired
Ford?
in Ford's in '03.
Okay. But you didn't stop. What
No,
did you do
I
after
didn't
that?
stop because I was always working on the side doing things for people.
Yeah. You seem like a guy that's got a lot of energy.
Yeah. But I have a friend who's a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working for him under the table, cash.
Yeah.
And all he was doing at that time, I helped him with, before that, when I was working at Ford's, he built some houses in Westland.
Mm-hmm.
So I helped him with that. And then I started working for him. Very first job he got, it was with another friend who was more as a contractor, but more in commercial. Marriott Hotel over at 6 Mile and 275. Redo the whole thing, interior.
Wow.
That was a 7 months job. We were there, or 8 months, something like that. Started at the 3rd floor, 2nd, 1st, man, everything. And then what he got into after that, he was doing insurance work, but then he finally branched off just kitchens and baths and trims and doors. That's all I did for 19 years with him.
And you did it all? Like you did all of the...
Yeah, well,
you
yeah.
weren't like specialized, like you didn't... You
No,
weren't the
he
tile
liked
guy
me
or-
because I can figure things out.
Yeah.
And small stuff like putting door handles on or figuring out how to do this or move electrical around, boxes around. I know how to do all that stuff too. And did all that.
And so let me ask you this. So a friend of mine helped me with this one time. So anytime you build a house, right, nothing's ever 100% square. But he figured out how to put the trim up so that things that weren't square would look square.
Especially when you hang doors.
Yeah.
You got to learn exactly how to hang doors.
Yeah. It's like art and science got married on that one,
Well,
I think.
Go back when we started, it was my friend, contractor, told me about land's cheap out in Livingston County because he lived in Livingston County.
Uh-huh.
So we started looking at houses. Found one house that we liked, but there was something about it we didn't like. And then decided to build. Mm-hmm. It turns out that house we didn't like was a modular home.
Oh.
So we found out who the company is, and down in Indiana, we went and visited that company. They had the same model, but with this room addition on it.
Mm-hmm.
Bought the plans from them, took it to a home planner. He tweaked everything inside the way we want it, and then submitted the plans to build.
Wow. And that's this house?
Yes. And my friend educated me on this. When you're looking for a framer, go and interview 3 and go visit their present sites with a level and a square. Found this guy. He was building a house in Grass Lake. Went down there. He was framing it. Checked it out. And he was right on. I hired him. Mm-hmm. And then he says the same thing with drywallers. You check them out first, too.
Oh, yes.
And then get the one you want, then boom, you go. It starts with the framer.
Right. Because if you start out with a good foundation, everything else comes together.
And that's the way this house came together.
Yeah.
Because I was the general on it.
Uh-huh.
And then once the drywall was done, I did everything else on the interior.
Now, do you like doing drywall? Do you know how to do drywall?
I used to, but I don't like doing it anymore because of dust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's getting harder to hang stuff for my age. But I do repair work on drywall.
Okay. I was just curious because a lot of people, they'll do everything but drywall because they don't like it.
Well, I used to do a lot of plumbing, but I got away from that years ago because I can't get down under the sinks anymore.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you got to back away. We used to do kitchens with backsplashes, doing tile work. I love doing tile work too. But bending over, doing that, got your lower back too much.
It's a young person's game, I
Yes.
think is what you would call that.
Yes.
Yeah, I find that as I get older, I'm more apt to pay somebody to do certain
Yes.
things, right? Because it just makes sense.
We had one house, a kitchen, that was amazing. It was a big house, big kitchen. Combine these two rooms, probably was most of the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
The one interior wall was off a ½ inch from top to bottom. So we got to make this wall hang in the cabinets right.
Yeah.
So we had to build a false wall to correct that problem. You always have problems. Bet you do demolition, you come across so much.
Oh, but so you finally stopped working just a few years ago.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah, 2019 I stopped.
All right. What have you been doing since then?
Too much.
Yeah.
Got really involved with VFW here. Then we got involved with the theater group here, or 4th of July committee here. They raised the money for the fireworks. Then Historical Society at the fairgrounds for the historical buildings, and I used to repair some of that stuff too.
Okay.
And then found out that too many bosses and everything, so we left there. Then I got into the theater group here, and I started building sets and props for them.
You do any acting?
They try to push me in that, but no. I like to be behind the scene, building, get my hands on.
Yeah. You don't want to be on that stage, huh?
Yeah. Well, I did one time,
Yeah.
but they didn't see me
Oh, okay.
because it was what was that thing I built? It was some kind of a room or something, but it was movable, okay? So I had to be inside, move it out.
No speaking lines, though.
No speaking
Okay.
lines, no.
All right. So it sounds like you're still keeping busy, even in retirement.
Yeah, I had to back away a few things.
Yeah.
One, I belonged to the Howe Gun Club, and we started years ago a youth program for archery. We got that up and running, and that's great because we supplied equipment and we trained them, trained adults too. One good story. The first year, there was a mom that came with 3 daughters, and the 3 daughters want to learn, but mom didn't. By the 2nd or 3rd week, the mom wanted to learn. By the 5th week, mom's competing against the oldest daughter.
Oh, really?
It was fun to watch that stuff develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting how parents will take their kids to get them involved, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
Yeah.
the parents decide,
Yep.
this is something I enjoy.
We taught grandmoms. They do a Women on Target there at the gun club in June. 96 women coming, involved in 6 stations they go. I was always part of the archery group. Teach women archery. Some of them come back to our classes and learn more.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was too much time away from home, so I had to back away from that. Right, Chris?
And you, so do you do a lot of stuff with the VFW then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a point man for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right now I'm working on, what am I working on? I'm working on a lot of things. Oh, getting estimates for roof, parking lot, and HVAC. And then we're going to, I found out, I started to find out about grants. I went to a Metropolitan, Fallowville, asked the manager there, how do you do grants? Oh, we used to hire somebody, but we don't anymore. What do you mean you don't? How do you do it? She showed me. Chat CPT, artificial intelligence. Says, you go in there, she turned her computer and showed me how to do it. You ask it, nonprofit organizations looking for a grant. And she'll walk you right through it.
Yeah.
I says, okay, but how do you know where to send it to? Oh, you ask it. Nonprofit organization wants to send a grant someplace in Michigan. All these organizations pop up. So I'm going to dab into it, see how far I can get. I don't know if I can do it or not.
Yeah.
Get somebody else to do it if I can't.
Right. become a grant writer.
No, artificial
Yes.
intelligence will do that.
Right. Have your computer become a grant
Yeah.
writer then, yeah.
And then my quartermaster put it on me beginning of the year. The department, VFW, is coming down with a new policy next year. Everything in that post has to be inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in charge. And then the wife taught me how to create a spreadsheet from words, office words.
Mm-hmm.
So I make sure with everything I write down, I create a spreadsheet for what I'm doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in these VFWs too, by the way.
Oh, God.
I've been to quite a few of them, and they have some stuff.
Well, my quartermaster wanted me inventory everything on the wall. I says, no. He says, I want to do it. I'm taking pictures with my camera. And then I'll make prints out and punch them and put them in a binder and put everything together in a binder. So you got everything there.
Yeah.
He says, okay. And I've done a couple of drawers in the kitchen. Pull the drawer. Oh, there's too much stuff in there. Just took a picture of it. Yeah.
Should be good enough, I would think.
I got the main building done.
Uh-huh.
The kitchen, the main hall, the office. I still got 2 other places to work on. 3 other places, but I got the rest of the year to do it, so no rush.
Yeah. Got to make the commander happy.
Yeah. Well, to make the quartermaster happy.
Yes.
He runs the place.
There you go. Well, you have certainly led an interesting life. You've done a lot of stuff, and you're still doing stuff. It sounds like you've had a couple of different careers and all kinds of things.
I've always wanted to stay active.
Yeah.
When I was at Ford's, I saw too much go on when I was in the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Retirees have nothing going on the outside.
Yeah.
And I try to tell them, find something to do. Join an organization. Volunteer work. Part-time job. Why do I need a part-time job? I got a job right now. Okay. Because I've seen too many pass within 2 years after they leave because they got nothing to do.
Right. They get bored.
Yeah.
They get bored. Well, that actually leads me to, I have 2 questions really. One is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Talk about your brother.
Oh, my brother.
Yeah. Let's talk about your brother.
He was 11 months younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
Every year with kids, we had fun because for 1 month we were the same age. We had fun with that.
I'll bet.
Yeah. But we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. But anyway, he enlisted. He did 2 tours in Signal Corps the first time. Second time he went back, he changed his MOS. He was a helicopter mechanic. So he got in with pilots.
Uh-huh.
And they taught him how to fly too. He put 17 years in the Army. But he couldn't re-up the last 3 years because when he was stationed in Germany, he was in a bad car accident, screwed his hip up.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a good friend who's a general, which was the godfather to his first child. He wasn't around when he was enlisted for his 20 years. So he had to get out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he got out, tried to go to the IRS, get hired, but he screwed himself out of that job. And then he was up in the Thumb area living. And in 98, he died in a bad car accident. He was a passenger.
Oh.
Head on, too.
That's too bad.
Yeah. That was a shocker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard when you lose a sibling like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Sounds like you have good memories of him, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, good and bad.
Yeah. Well.
I remember taking a bat to him, too.
Oh, well.
As a kid.
Oh, that's
boys.
Yeah, well, you know, my sister and I were a year and a half apart, and we have some great stories about hitting each other with toys and yeah. So it's just
being raised.
Yeah, sibling
that's
rivalry,
childhood. It's just the way it is.
Exactly. Well, so my only other question really is, you know, as people will watch and listen to this many years from now. when we're probably all
Yes.
gone, right?
Yes.
What message would you like to leave people with?
Oh, message.
Yeah.
Enjoy life. Do everything you can when you're young, because when you get older, it gets harder to do things. Enjoy it and stay busy with your life and enjoy it.
All right. Well, thank you for that message. Thank you for taking time out today to sit and talk with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Veterans Archives podcast. We truly appreciate you taking the time to listen and honor the incredible stories of our nation's heroes. Don't forget, you can catch us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Wreaths Across America Radio, or stream past episodes anytime on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and as I've said before, any place you can find a podcast, you can find the Veterans Archives podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share our content on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and across all social media. Every share helps us reach more people and preserve more stories. The Veterans Archives podcast is a nonprofit initiative, and our mission is simple: to give veterans a voice and ensure their stories are never forgotten. This service is completely free for veterans because their sacrifices deserve to be recognized and remembered. You want to help? Follow us, spread the word, and if you know a veteran with a story to tell, send them our way. Visit us at veteransarchives.org to learn more about how you can get involved. Thanks again for tuning in, and most importantly, thank you to all the veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice. Until next time, take care, and we will see you on the next episode of the Veterans Archives podcast.